When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. Septum Sin versus the Wild. Septum Sin versus the Wild. Septum Sin versus the Wild. Septum Sin versus the world.
I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings, this is Septum Sin versus the World. I'm Kotobuki Jake, this is Septum Sin, and he's having some throat trouble right now, so I'm leading us off. Unfortunately, because of the throat trouble, we will have delayed releases on our good videos this week. Not that this will be not a good one, but the others are going to be cool. So, tune in for when they actually get done. We have a best of anime list coming up, and of course our pickups, which are going to be particularly fun this time. But for today, we have our usual "What's Coming to You," and so let's roll that footage. Okay, I guess it's back to me. Kicking things off, really exciting that I had never heard of until about 15 minutes ago, and I'm looking at the cast list here and I'm intrigued by it, is that they are making an animated version of one of the more storied and one might say almost iconic Batman storylines, Hush. It's finally getting the animated, the movie treatment of sorts. But the DC animated is a mixed bag, but it's typically fun. It's typically pretty good. There's actually another one this week, Justice League versus the Fatal Five, but I'm more interested in Hush. You know, they're going to be cool. But I'm also intrigued by the fact that they managed to cast two different actresses who are both named Peyton List. And one is playing Batgirl and one is playing Poison Ivy. I'm also intrigued that Rainn Wilson is playing Lex Luthor. That's pretty funny. And Jerry O'Connell is Superman. You've got Jason O'Mara as Batman. And I know he's done Batman in a few of the previous ones, but I can't remember offhand. Do you remember which ones? Whatever. And Tara Strong, who's in all these movies, is reporter. It's kind of weird she's not playing a major role. But anyway, and Rebecca Romijn as Lois Lane, so that could be interesting. But if you've never read the comic, it's pretty awesome. So if the movie does justice to it, it'll be something to look forward to.
Yeah, the comic was really well done. It actually helped get me back into Batman for a short time. I believe Jim Lee did the art, and Jeff
Loeb, I believe,
did the story. They really did bring in a big team. I think it was a big boon for Batman, so I'm glad to see this was back up and running.
And a big boon for the Riddler. It was one of his few times to shine.
Yeah, well, it did come out of nowhere for me. I didn't realize that ending was going to be what it was.
All right. So,
of course, one of the bigger theater hits for anime for many of you fans would have been the Dragon Ball Super movie, Broly.
mm-hmm.
This would actually be, in my opinion, the first of the actual Dragon Ball Super movies, because the other two were Dragon Ball Z movies that happened to take place in that world.
They just repurposed them for Super.
So now Super has its first movie, and it makes Broly into a canon character, whereas the Broly movies in the original Dragon Ball Z were not. There were multiple Broly movies before, which had put him out as the true original Super Saiyan.
Mm-hmm.
They were rather fun movies, and many fans liked it, so I'm kind of glad to see that he's finally in the canon of the world.
Alright, sticking with anime for a moment, one of the series that I really want to get into, and I have not yet been able to, this week sees the release of Part 2 of The Ancient Magus Bride, which, of course, a couple weeks back we had that really nice-looking limited edition set come out, and this is where you spend lots of money to complete that collection. But I did not do so. I'm still hoping I get the chance to do so. But, yeah. And I'm just going to throw in an aside here real quick. Speaking of those really expensive limited edition sets, did you see what Right Stuff added to their catalog in the last day or two? The first half of Sailor Moon Sailor Stars.
Yes, that was good news.
Yes.
And I have it already pre-ordered.
I'm sure you do.
It's one of the few things I do try and pre-order as much these days.
Pricey. I'm not sure I want to, but that's... We'll see.
So the next thing on the list is Master of Dark Shadows. I find this interesting, as I do have the big Dark Shadows collection. You could see the coffin in the background. This was like 1,200 episodes long.
Mm-hmm.
Spawned some movies, including one with Johnny Depp, which did... this is more about him. The actual director and how it was made. So it's kind of cool to see a documentary on it. It's definitely on my wish list. Not my buy list, but definitely on my wish list.
Sounds good. And the other notable, not to say the other notable, and I know you have one that you're going to add, but the other notable anime one I'm going to talk about this week is... a re-release. I want to say the first Blu-ray release, but I could be wrong about this. But there's a re-release of an old... Oh, you're going to get one of the old box sets? Oh, yeah, these are nice. This is a nice Bandai box set. But I want to say, is it Discotech that's putting it out now? But the series Please Teacher, the nice little Pocky sticks on the side of the box. This was a fun little series. It spawned a sort of, almost sequel called Please Twins. They're fun. They're relatively disposable, harem-y type series, but if I remember correctly, it's one of those, the alien comes down and guy meets this cute alien type thing.
Yeah,
and Kikuko Inoue plays the teacher, title character, and of course does her usual kind of wide-eyed innocent kind of shtick, but it's a really fun. It did have some appealing art, nice music, and that sort of thing. And so if you don't have the series, it's worth picking up. Yeah. And if you do have it and you need to save space, yeah, this is a good way to do it.
Well, before I go on, I want to show off this shirt, because I won't be doing it for the pickups, which is really one that you can only get if you have watched Rage Select, which is a Let's Play type channel that I really do enjoy. You too can get one of these shirts if you like at the Rage Select store. And of course, you should check it out. Next is the finishing of a series that's extremely expensive, but one by the creators of Honey and Clover, which is one of my favorite anime. You may even see it mentioned in a video upcoming. And that series is called March Comes In Like a Lion. Now, I doubt I'll be able to watch this before that other video, but I am looking forward to seeing it. It took my tax returns to grab hold of some of it, and I'm hoping very much to have this finished. It'll be a very good start.
Yeah, now this is an Aniplex release, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and it is 4 volumes. This is volume number 4. Not a simple pickup for most people, but I want to see it. I've heard good things, and there are times where I'm willing to put an Aniplex title in my crosshairs. I just got to figure out how to make that happen.
It's a difficult thing. I have a number of them in my collection, but not too many.
Right. I've got a couple. Notable new release from this year. We have the new film from M. Night Shyamalan, Glass, is finally making its bow on home release. This was one I gave it a miss in the theaters, but I've got a hold in the library. I'm going to watch it. It'll give me an excuse to watch my copies of Unbreakable and Split. And so it'd be kind of neat to do that together and see what the connections are. Glass, of course, is the film that ties together Unbreakable and Split, featuring, of course, Samuel L. Jackson as the main character, title character, if you will, bringing back Bruce Willis, James McAvoy, and Anya Taylor-Joy from the earlier films. And it looks decent. It got so-so reviews. Apparently people felt that the things that worked really well for Unbreakable and Split kind of took the wind out of the sails for this one, unfortunately. So I'm still curious about it, but as intrigued as I was by Unbreakable, it still was kind of tedious. So I'll look forward to it, but yeah.
My last one has me very excited. You can tell, right?
Yes. Yay.
Which is Steven Universe Season 2. When I saw Season 1 set, I was a little bit excited, but I was thinking to myself, well, this will probably be the only one. Whereas, much like Gravity Falls, Steven Universe has been released in these mixed episode sets that cover like various areas of the storyline. But it is very good to see Season 2 being officially released here, and that gives me hope that the rest of the seasons will also come out here. Steven Universe has been upheld by many people of the progressive bent as being way forward, showing a lot of the world, like how normal being actually a lesbian is in that sense. Many people are saying this is the first, LGBT wedding. I'm not. I can understand that in a partial sense. I don't agree with it because the race that's getting married is a race that's all females. So if you're going to get married at all within that race, then
you don't have many options.
Yeah, it's like there is no such thing as heterosexual marriage. I think a heterosexual marriage, which there was one in at the beginning that produced Steven, that would be the equivalent of an LGBT marriage to that group of people. But again, it's still a very cool series. I really like it. Season 2 is really where it takes off, so I am glad that more people will be able to get into it. They're very short episodes, and it's well worth your time if you have that chance. A lot of cool subjects like classism, racism, and even LGBTQ issues. It is a fun series.
Cool. I've only seen a little bit. One I saw was pretty interesting. And finally, my last one is a movie that unfortunately is not a progressive, forward-thinking movie. And with every year that goes by, it feels more and more uncomfortable to me that this was always one of my favorite movies growing up. But this is a movie I grew up with. For many children of the 80s and the early 90s, this is a film they grew up with. And I'm talking, of course, this week there is a 35th anniversary release. God, that movie's 35 years old. 35th anniversary release, and I think a 4K release, if I'm looking at the picture right, of The Karate Kid. Old fame, well, you know The Karate Kid. You know, Ralph Macchio, Pat Morita. It is a very enjoyable film about a scrappy kid who could go down the wrong path but ends up on the straight and narrow because of the wise teachings of his karate teacher, Mr. Miyagi. And it's, you know, like I said, it's a huge part of the 80s. It's a huge part of my childhood. Pat Morita actually got an Oscar nomination for playing Miyagi, and he does do a brilliant performance. He deserved the nomination. The problem is, it's a very thinly written role that's very Asian stereotype role. And it actually emboldened and created an entire generation of additional Asian stereotypes. I don't know, I have very mixed feelings about it, but it is part of my childhood, and I can't deny that. And I do like, Morita does do a great performance. Macchio does a fine job in the role, you know, and it's a good underdog sports movie, is really what it is an underdog sports movie. And for what it is, it's one of the classics, so it just feels so dated. But it is getting a re-release, so you can feel that way all over again. All right.
Well then, we are at the end of our particular episode today.
Yeah.
Let us know what you want to pick up.
Yeah.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. And we will see you on the next one.
Bye.